I'm MMC Scott McKenna. I'm a recruit division commander here at Navy Boot Camp. My current role right now is the in-processing. For each one of you that's going to be showing up at here boot camp, me or one of my counterparts will be your first face you see, your first indoctrination here into the Navy. The point is that we are getting you from the airport and we're taking ownership of this process from moving forward. Because even though you are just coming from home, you are now a recruit and you are now a part of the Navy. When you're showing up here, there's a few do's and don'ts that we want to address with you. There's items that your recruiters are going to tell you can bring and you can't bring. And there's hairstyles you're authorized and not authorized to have. A couple of those pieces is for females. When you're showing up, you do not show up with hair colors that are not your natural hair color. If you do, we're going to require you to dye your hair at that point here at Navy Boot Camp. So it'd be advantageous of you to take care of that before you show up. Another one is shaving parts of your head. If you undercut or shave the bottom areas or lower parts of your hair, it may require you to receive a specified haircut. Absolutely show up with your hair if it's natural and how it's going, and we're going to teach you how to wear it in uniform. That is our job. Our job is to train you, teach you, and mold you from a civilian into a Navy sailor. Another one is fake eyelashes or fake fingernails. Ideally, remove all those prior to showing up here because you're going to be required to do that otherwise in a controlled environment. Another one for males showing up, once again, faddish hairstyles. If you don't know what faddish hairstyle is, the same piece, cutting designs into your hair or shaving certain aspects of it or dyeing it unnatural colors. Those are pieces you should ideally take care of prior to getting here, but we will give you a haircut. Once you show up, each and every one of you will receive a haircut. Another one is going to be when you show up with a beard. If you're going to end up having to cut that beard off or doing it with just a razor, is not ideal. I highly suggest that you shave off as much of that or all of it before you show up here, unless it is for religious purposes and you have that authorization from the Navy prior to showing up here. Another piece of that showing up is prescription medications. If you have medication provided to you by a provider, you are authorized to bring it here to RTC where it will be evaluated by our own medical staff. This includes prescription birth control. For all you females that might be on that, you absolutely are authorized to bring prescription birth control. Once again, once that is brought here, we'll document it, and the medical team here for the Navy will assess and authorize or unauthorize its use for you going forward. If you have any specified hygiene products that are for you personally, you are authorized to bring those as long as they're not glass. No glass products can be brought here on base. Once we take you in, we give you everything you need. You're provided shirt, shorts, pants, sweatshirt, every sort of hygiene products you're going to need. The day you step off that bus, you are part of the Navy, and as such, the Navy is going to provide you each and every one of those items that you require. So with that being said, you don't need to show up with a lot of luggage. The bare minimum. Honestly, if you show up with what you're wearing, that's going to be what's required of you. It's going to be packed into a small box, and that box is going to be kept here on station until you graduate from boot camp. You're not going to be utilizing it. You're not going to be wearing your civilian attire. All those items that you show up with at home that are unauthorized, which would include items like tobacco, vape, lighters, batteries. Do not bring any weapons of any sort. Do not, once again, bring any glass materials. Any electronics, you do not need them. They are going to be placed in the box. They are not authorized. Each one of these items, if you bring them, they're either going to be placed in the box, or unfortunately, if they do not fit in that box, they're going to have to be discarded. And what I mean by that is there's a means of either they'll be thrown out or they'll be donated to a local shelter here. So ideally, the less you bring, the better. And I said you will not be required to wear your own attire going forward. Once you show up here, you will change within that first hour of showing up on base into Navy authorized uniforms. COVID vaccine. If you have received the COVID vaccine prior to shipping off, bring your card with you. Absolutely bring your card with you. It may reduce your time in ROM. If you don't know what the ROM piece is right now, you have up to 14 days where you'll put in an isolation period before you're authorized to go into training. If you show up with your vaccination card and you've meet all the required standards, meaning post second shot or post your first shot from Johnson & Johnson, and your card is not laminated, you may go into training sooner than your counterparts. Now the piece of it being laminated, the reason we cannot accept laminated cards is there's no way if we can validate it's an original copy. The only way we are authorized to utilize that vaccination card is if it is the original copy that you received from your medical provider. The other piece that we are authorized to accept is if you have a printout from your medical provider of your authorized shot records showing that you've received the applicable COVID-19 vaccines. When you're showing up here at boot camp, a big piece to realize is that this is an organization, this is the military, right? You already should have been learning ranking recognition and respect and how you talk to people. So try and understand that and learn and utilize that sir or ma'am, or even try to understand what somebody's rank might be prior to showing up here. Doing those little pieces is really going to help you move forward and get out of those situations that you might not want to be in. This is stressful. This is the Navy. We're meant to. You're moving from a civilian standpoint into a military standpoint. So preparing yourself, understanding what is going to be asked of you. This is all going to be happening at nighttime. You will have gotten off a plane from flying or a bus from wherever you might have come from. You're going to be tired. Listen to what we have to say. Our job here is to guide you, mentor you, and train you to someday take our job. So listen to what we have to say and listen to the process. It's tried and true and it works. When you're arriving here, you're going to be authorized to keep certain items. Certain of these items are going to be ones you're going to need throughout your time here. If you have dependents, meaning people that rely on you financially or whatnot, you need to bring the applicable documents that prove that. If you have a mortgage, you need to bring something that proves you have a mortgage. You have to bring all these documents that show what is going on in your life. So the biggest piece to think about this is some sort of financial or dependability aspect, bring it. If you have an address book, you absolutely should bring it. If you don't have one and you rely on your cell phone for all of the information, you need to transfer that to it. Because the thing is, when you show up here, we'll have you turn your cell phones on. You're going to make an initial phone call home off a pre-scripted piece of paper, and that's it. Once that's done, you will turn your cell phones off. They'll be placed in your pocket until we can deem the time that we'll place them in a box for the remainder of your training. You will not have access to it. So if you have automatic bill payments that come out from your phone, if you have anything that's tethered to that, you need to set that up and figure it out prior to you showing up here at boot camp. Because once again, you do not have access to your cell phone. It will be placed in a box in a warehouse for the duration of your time here at RTC and boot camp. So ensure you receive all phone numbers, contact information, banking information, each one of those items. Now, when you show up here, don't think that you have to show up with money. We will provide you with a card with which you'll be able to use to pay for any items you might do here at boot camp. Once again, you're in the Navy's care the day you show up, so we ensure we do that. But if you want to bring anything you're going to need moving forward, your wallet, debit card, credit card, photo ID is required. You must bring a credited photo ID. We can't validate who you are without it, right? You got to think about that piece. And you must bring a secondary form of ID as well, whether it be a birth certificate, social security card. And we can provide you, our recruiters will be providing you with a whole list of authorized forms of ID. But if you think about it soon and think about it early, that you must have some sort of photo ID, and don't think when you're getting on that bus, well, I don't need it today, I already went through this process at the MEPS. You absolutely need it here at boot camp. If not, you will be put in a hold status while we're waiting to get those forms of documents sent here to boot camp. If you have any sort of banking, routing, account information that you're going to be utilized, bring it with you. When in doubt, bring it. If your recruiter gives it to you, if it's a piece of paper handed to you by MEPS, a recruiter, or somebody in the military that you've gone through this process, bring it. When in doubt, bring it. When filling out that address book, you got to think about you don't have access to the phone, like I said. So if you have usernames, passwords, account information, anything that you think would be applicable or needed, you need to write it down. During your time here at boot camp, you're going to be sending letters. So you're going to want addresses of people, right? This is a stressful time. You're here for an extended period, isolated from what you might have known back home. So have those addresses. And if you're authorized to have a phone call during your time here, have those phone numbers available to you so you can call your loved ones or talk to somebody for support outside of the Navy.